The heart does not announce its arrival. Like a quiet character in a beloved novel, it steps into the room unnoticed, and yet, by the time you realize it is there, everything in the story has already changed. When someone is attracted to you but chooses to hide it, their heart begins to behave like the most devoted yet unspoken love stories ever written. Like Elizabeth quietly reading between the lines of Darcia's silence, like Gatsby watching the green light across the water, like Jane holding her breath every time Mr. Rochester enters the room. Their world reorganizes itself around your presence in a way they will never confess out loud. But you can feel it in the subtle shifts of reality, in how they remember not only who you are, but who you are becoming, in how the air grows heavier when you stand near them, in how the smallest detail about you becomes a sentence they never forget, a paragraph they replay in their mind, a chapter they hold sacred. They learn the rhythm of your footsteps, the quiet poetry of your voice, the way your face softens when you're lost in memory. And though they may pretend indifference, they are memorizing you the way scholars memorize scripture, with reverence, with wonder, as if understanding you is a form of salvation. They are the kind of person who will listen to a room full of voices, but only hear yours. Who will walk through a crowd, but only search for the color of your presence. Who will smile at the world and yet ache for the one moment you happen to glance their way. Their attraction is not loud, not reckless, not the blazing drama of a summer romance. No, it is the slow-burning, aching, persistent love found in the most enduring books, the kind that doesn't rush, that learns patience, that becomes part of the bones. They hide it, not because it is small, but because it is immense, because it carries the terrifying possibility of forever, because it holds the power to rewrite everything they thought they knew about themselves and their life. So they mask it beneath friendship, beneath politeness, beneath 1,000 small gestures that seem meaningless to the world, but mean everything to them. They will offer you the better seat, the last piece, the warmer side of the room. They will defend your name in conversations you will never hear. They will celebrate your victories in silence and mourn your sorrows as if they were their own. When you speak, they do not simply hear words. They hear the story of a universe unfolding, and they want to be part of it, even if they must do so invisibly, like a hidden character who changes the entire plot without ever stepping into the spotlight. If you were to watch closely, you'd notice how often they find excuses to exist near you, how destiny suddenly needs them in the same places you go, how coincidence begins to feel like a carefully written scene where they just happen to appear again and again. They will look at you when they think you are not watching, and in their eyes you will see something endlessly tender, something that reads like a line from a worn-out page in the world's most loved novel. It is admiration, yes, but it is more than that. It is belief. It is the realization that you, unknowingly, have become home to a heart that never planned to settle anywhere. In their quiet moments, in their empty rooms, in the late hours of the night, they think of you not in desire alone, but in possibility, in imagined futures, in soft, unreal scenes where your presence feels so natural it almost hurts to know it isn't real. You are their unresolved chapter, the one they return to again and again, the one they cannot finish writing, the one that haunts them long after the cover of the book has closed. Many people have shared their stories of loving someone silently like this. They speak of the way their hearts rewrote their lives around a single person who never knew, or only realized when it was far too late. They confess that the person they hid their feelings for became the quiet ruler of their inner world. The reason they woke up earlier, the reason they tried harder, the reason they believed in something gentler when life grew cruel. They said it was a love that made them better without ever asking for anything in return. It was a love built from distance, from imagination, from 1,000 beautiful maybes. And some of them said that even years later, even after time had carried them in different directions, even after other faces and other names and other lives, there was still a small glowing place in their heart that belonged to that one unspoken love, untouched by reality, unbroken by truth, preserved like a pressed flower inside the pages of a forgotten book. If someone is hiding their attraction to you, they are likely fighting an entire novel within themselves. There is the hopeful chapter where they imagine you noticing, the fearful chapter where they imagine losing you, the tragic chapter where you choose someone else, and the peaceful, selfless chapter where they decide that as long as you are happy, that is enough. They will sit beside you and swallow 1,000 words. They will write speeches in their mind and never speak a single one. They will fall in love with who you truly are. Not the version you show the world, but the quiet self that exists when the noise fades. They will notice the sadness you try to hide, the strength you do not realize you carry, the beauty you have never learned to see in the mirror. You become, without trying, the protagonist of their heart, the muse of their days, the reason the world seems less empty. And the most beautiful part of all, you do not even have to say a word. You do not have to perform or impress or change who you are. Your mere existence, your authenticity, your laugh, your kindness, your faults, your humanity, it is enough to inspire a silent, steady devotion that rivals the greatest love stories ever written. In a world where everything's rushed, declared, and displayed, there is something sacred about being loved in quiet, about being cherished in stillness, about being admired by a heart that chooses silence over risk, distance over confession, loyalty over possession. It is a love that asks for nothing and yet gives everything. It is the kind of love that does not seek the ending. It is content simply being part of the story. So when you walk into a room and feel a strange warmth that you cannot explain, when silence between you and someone feels heavier than words, when you catch someone looking at you as though you are both their miracle and their undoing, remember somewhere in the unwritten pages of the world, you have become someone's most beautiful secret. You have become the line they underline, the passage they whisper, the chapter they never want to end. And even if it is never spoken, even if fate never places you in the same final scene, there is something profoundly powerful in knowing that you have been loved the way the greatest books love their readers, slowly, deeply, invitingly, and forever.